like an argument, so to speak. I don't know if I can say that, but I am confrontational on certain topics. But so the topic of the day was: is church, is gospel, is hip hop the new gospel music? And I know for myself, having been bred in church, a lot of times hip hop, secular music was not allowed in my home when I was growing up. It was a taboo. It wasn't really allowed to be talked about. It was like, it's got to be gospel or nowhere.
In church, right?
Well, in my home. But the church I went to was very progressive, but it still wasn't like as free as it's gotten now.
Yeah,
because I'm 35, so it wasn't, there was no Kirk Franklin in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
So I come from the very traditional thing. So I called in some friends. I called in a pastor who's been the pastor of my church, and I've known this guy before he was even pastor. I've known him for being a pastor of another ministry. I've known him since I was a kid. He's a very forward-thinking, and he's not just a pastor that is. He goes to church and preaches and drives a Bentley or drives a Honda or whatever it may be. And he's a very forward thinker again. So his name is Bishop Darnell Johnson. He's here. I've got my friend Slick, who's a hip hop star slash ex other things in the creator's life. So you got a track record, a jail record, the whole kit. So I know he could appreciate God and hip hop music as well as gospel, possibly. I've got my friend Scott Akbar here, who is beyond just a hip hop guy to me. He is he's a thinker, a philosopher. He's quite a profound fellow.
I'm looking forward to
quite a profound fellow.
Of being a thinker.
Yeah, Scott's a pretty profound guy. And I got my friend Mr. Calvin Tucker, who is always open for coming on the show. He's a licensed manager, he's a model designer, and when to have his standpoint from a Christian standpoint and also from a fashion standpoint. So this is it. So guys, everybody say hello. I'll start off with I guess Calvin. Why don't you start off, buddy?
What's going on? It's your boy, Minister Calvin Tucker, aka Brother Calvin, born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. Check me out, the Brother Calvin Show on YouTube, Male Model Reach. That's what it is.
Okay, Scar?
What up, world? Scar, Bob. I'm just in the building. I do it all.
Yeah, man. Scar, say all this. I know you do music.
Music, director, graphic artist, thinker. I do everything. Producer.
Okay.
I do a lot.
And Scar, say where you're from. Say what you say your background. You just not just a regular guy I'm from the street and I started rapping because I was tired of trapping. That's not your story. I just rhyme. I could be a rapper. I just rhyme, didn't I?
Ah, yeah.
Okay, y'all done laugh. Okay. Go ahead, Scott.
I don't know what kind of story I got. I live life, man. Like I've been through the worst. I've been through the best. I've been through a whole bunch of things, and I embrace everything that I've been through, and I put it out in my music. Like, I'm not no clean slate dude. I'm not no goody two-shoe dude. I'm a real dude. I'm a realist. I think real things, and I think beyond the things that you think about.
Right, you do. That's why I had you on. Cause I'm gonna push you to get there. I'm gonna push that button for you to go there. Cause I know, like you. Okay, I'm be real. Last time you were here, you said about you were in a psych ward at one time.
Yeah.
Why?
Because of how I think. Like, yeah, the normal mind state don't think like I think. I think beyond how people think. So, like, you would look at a normal person. Well, I ain't gonna say normal, but like, you would look at it as crazy.
Right. I always say that I'm normal, they're weird.
Yeah, like I look at it, I'm a little bit more advanced than what you are.
Right. I agree.
So that 10% of the left side of your brain that you don't use, I'm tapped in that 2%.
Right.
So you need to catch up.
Right. Okay. What do you think is the? You know what? I won't go there quite yet. But, yeah, I'm going to go somewhere else. Bishop Darnell, you pass it to you real quick. You just say your background, how long you been in ministry, your parents were. I know, but folks don't know. Other folks don't know.
Is that relevant?
It is. It is. How long you been in ministry? I guess just all that kind of guess. It's a really brief synopsis.
Well, it's good to be here. I'm surrounded today.
Right.
We can handle it. About 20 years, been pastoring the greatest church that exists for about 2 years, Living Word.
Okay.
And I'm loving it. And that's what we're doing, moving forward. And I'm thinking about what ministry and who God is all about.
Okay. That's a great synopsis. Okay.
I had to go to the history part.
Right. You go there. Okay.
All
right, let's say for
Slick, go ahead, Slick boss. You being shy?
Good afternoon, radio station. My name's City Slick. Born and raised in Baltimore. I'm like an entrepreneur, ex-trapper turned rapper. Just greatly gifted, man. I'm thankful for everything that God has done for me, man, throughout my life. And all I am is a blessing, man. That's all I'm trying to do is get blessings back. Uplift my city.
All right. Okay. So then that was all nice and elementary and grade school and cute. All right. So what do you guys think about hip hop and gospel? Because in my opinion, and y'all can jump in. Whoever's to jump in first, I don't care. But I personally think that a lot of times gospel music is not as inspirational as it. To me, I'm more inspired by Jay-Z and Diddy sometimes than I am by gospel music.
Define what gospel music is.
Okay.
What is gospel? That's why do we put labels on genres?
I guess when
of music.
when
Let's go.
someone
That's
is
where I was
a
going. Where the
believer
pastor is,
and
that's where I
they're
was
singing
going.
songs based on God and maybe their whole album and their whole image is all about just Jesus. I guess they are now a gospel artist.
Who called it that? And what makes it right? Because we call it that.
Well, I'll just say this, because being a young
This is
artist
gonna be fun.
in ministry, I went through that coming up. You know, what are these titles in this gospel music? And I went from calling myself a gospel artist or a psalmist or a gospel artist to an inspirational gospel artist or inspirational. I really don't like the titles, but when you're doing business, sometimes you need to put a title on it. But when I would say gospel, people automatically thought, okay, a style. They thought a genre. They thought old school Southern gospel, Shirley Caesar, old Negro spirituals. That's all they thought. So when I came out doing my music, which is hip hop, R&B, more sound like similar to Mary Mary and the things that you hear on urban gospel radio, then people who heard gospel artists would get confused. So I put inspirational on it because not only do I do music that has a message about the gospel, which is the good news of Jesus Christ. That's what the gospel is. I do music based on that and my life. And I also do music about everyday things. So I think about suicide and relationships and things like that. So that now becomes inspirational music.
Okay.
But my message stems from the gospel, which is the good news of Jesus Christ, that Jesus saves.
Okay. So
That's
now,
the gospel.
all right, let's push it. So to me, Kanye West, "I Am God" is gospel music to me.
No.
How so?
No, the reason why
Absolutely.
Let him explain though, 'cause-
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think that
Absolutely.
I would disagree
Okay.
because if we are going to say that if we're going to put it in that category, if you're going to be a gospel artist, you are singing or living the lifestyle where you honor God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, those
Right.
three, nothing more. You are not
Nothing
God
added.
as far as I would be concerned. So therefore, I would say that Kanye West is a man who's putting himself in a position where he is making himself God.
Well,
That's now what I would define that as.
if we go, if I can bring it in, he is. If we say
In what
gospel,
way?
he just said gospel is the message of Jesus Christ, right?
Okay,
And
yes.
and basically we get our message from Scripture. Those of us that are in Christianity. So if you go into Psalms on John, Jesus say, "Ye are gods," and that's a small G. So
The gods of
really,
the earth.
Kanye would be correct if we go by Scripture and we say that it is gospel music, the message of Christ.
Define the word gospel.
Gospel.
That's what I want.
Right.
Define that word. What does that word mean? Gospel.
Gospel, you
I
anybody
think
really?
gospel.
That's what I just explained.
Right.
Okay, Bishop. Why don't
Right.
you answer?
No, because I don't call it gospel, so
Okay.
I can't define it.
Okay.
What is gospel? What is gospel?
It's a proclamation of oral or written. It's good news. A proclamation of good news, or either oral or written.
Good
That's
news.
what
So say it again. Say one more time. Say it one more time.
Gospel is a proclamation of good news, either oral or written. So
Okay, all right. So in gospel music, if it's all about good news, then why some music is about bad, hard times?
If it's
correct.
Most of it is about, if we call it gospel, it's about, and I was telling our church just the other day, I get more inspirational listening to what we call non-gospel, because all gospel has done is taught us how to barely make it. We ain't got nothing. Hold on, hold out. To me, that's not gospel. We may be talking about the style, okay, that came out of slavery, if we want to call that gospel music, but most what we call gospel is not gospel because it's not good news.
Okay. All right. Now the thing of this story is gospel the new hip hop, or is hip hop the new
it's
gospel? You know
gospel.
what I'm saying? But when you break that down, like music is for listeners. It's for a message. No matter how you put it,
Right.
someone is going to interpret it some kind of way.
Exactly.
No matter how you, whatever you sing, and country music got the most stories to tell. You ask me. But music, the genre of music in the whole, I ain't gonna put no title on it. Hip hop, rap, gospel, whatever you want to put. Like, music is music. Music is for a message. Just like you could have a preacher up there preaching about whatever he read in a book and give it to the public. You have a dude that just knows the streets or knows whatever he knows, put it in the paper, read it out of a book, put it on the mic, put it on a CD. Just like you could sell your sermons on a CD, or a person could sell their sermons. It's just it's a language. It's to get to the people for real. So I don't think hip hop is the new gospel. I think hip hop it is what it is. I think if I could take as a producer, if I could take a Shirley Caesar from 1970 acapella and put it over a up-to-date trap beat, what do you call that?
See, there we go.
Yeah,
That's what I was
she's done that.
now.
She's done that.
No, I'm telling not what she has done.
Mm-hmm.
That's like how a DJ would do it.
You're talking about the formula.
Yeah, like so if I put her old acapella over a hip hop beat, what do you call that?
It's still about
it would be called urban gospel.
No, what do you call it?
It's called urban. Can y'all hear me?
Huh?
It's called urban gospel.
Why?
That's because of the classification historically and industry-wise.
Wow, because
I didn't say it was right or wrong, but I'm giving you when you explain what music is in terms of genres, there are definitions and there are categories. That's just how that goes.
So because
you took hip hop, which is considered urban, and you took what we've historically called gospel, which is her sound, her southern gospel, and combined them. So now you have a combination of the genre of urban and gospel together.
Is that what you just made up though? Yeah, is that what you just made up?
No, you never heard that before?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe that though.
You can pull out your phone and pull up urban gospel, and some artists will come up. So
no, I mean at the end of the day, like that's just somebody that's creating something. I don't believe
that's what I mean. The industry has created that, so it's not something I made up. It's something that somebody else in the industry made up, and now artists and labels follow it. That's how things are created.
Well, hip hop is not the new gospel. Hip hop is always going to be what it's going to be, which is a message.
Agree with that.
Which is a message.
I agree with that. But I think
gospel is a message. R&B has a message. Anything that you can write down from off of pure emotions and feelings and display to the public, and you can relate to it. It has a message behind it. I don't care what you title it. Because like nothing has to have a title to it until a person puts a title to it, and then you're brainwashed into believing that it's that title.
Yes,
exactly.
Because it's all art form at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's all freedom of expression.
And on top of that, it's all a God-given gift.
Yes,
so
it
if you
is.
want to put it, if you want to put it like that. No, I don't believe hip hop is the new gospel.
Right. I'm with you. I brought that up because I wanted to really tackle into what is inspirational, what isn't inspirational. I can be inspired by something that you say, and that can help to change life for the better. Does that not make your song gospel? Because it's not labeled gospel. You know, so I want to get into the labels and really get into the content of what's being said. Now, I think what we're missing in music is that the content in a lot of music is great. A lot of content. I remember songs growing up when I know Stephen McCoy just joined us, who was a musician, been in church, understands Christianity, music, and the whole gambit. And I was thinking of something on Mama Day, and she was raised in church, and it was a song in gospel music that was said, the words were, and you know this one, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can, you heard that one too, who can save everybody. I'm just a nobody. How in the hell is that gospel? How is that labeled as gospel? But Jay-Z may talk about whatever he's talking about, and he is in the church shunned. That's what's crazy to me. I don't get the rationale behind
that goes deeper than that. That goes on to the religion aspect of things, and how you could go from, I'm not going to say a church, but you know, you got all these different type of religions. Mm-hmm. But everybody believes in a God, and there's only supposed to be one God. Am I right? But there's probably 1,000 different books written about to believe in this.
Right.
So you go into a church, it's considered blasphemy when he speaks about certain things like how you say he say a lot of different things in his raps, and it's looked upon as demonic or this, that, the other. He calls himself Jehovah.
Right.
So Do the Baptists and the Muslims and everybody else look at him different?
Stereotypically, yes.
Holy Grail.
Stereotypically, yeah.
Not really.
I mean, you gotta look at society. Society is built. Society is based upon ways though. If you look at society, right? And I was raised in church, went to youth minister school, sung in the choir, all that. And you're raised with different types of beliefs, whereas though you're built. Society born and bred you to say, okay, well this is right and this is wrong. When you was growing up, how many times did they tell you, oh, I don't want you to listen to NWA, I don't want you to listen to Public Enemy. Why? This music is not what you're supposed to be listening to. Why? Because it's going to corrupt you and have you doing things that you shouldn't do. Right? Music influences a lot of people and it heals the soul at the same time, right?
It is what I'm
So you telling me that if I write a song about jewelry and cars and me coming from the street and grinding just to get to the top, a gospel song is better than my real life experience? No.
No, and that's what we're saying. Steve, go ahead.
You good.
No, but maybe it might be hard for the church folk to relate to that because they don't come from that. You understand? They see it, they see it, they stray away from it, but they don't come from that, so they don't understand, they don't interpret what you say, right? But at the end of the day, like that's just being biased to another person's problems. You understand? Like I got problems, the church folk might have problems, everybody has problems. But we pray the same way. We ask God for the same things.
Steve, go ahead.
Jumping in late. Something that we kind of like everywhere. It's just kind of everywhere.
Yeah, we talk about the whole premise of the first topic was is hip hop the new gospel? That was the reason for the show. But we kind of
hip hop could never be the new gospel. Okay, it's just like gospel could never be hip hop.
Okay.
If we understand what gospel is from a religious belief, because everybody, first of all, everybody's not going to believe what we believe, being from different backgrounds, whether you're Muslim, Christian, so on and so on. But from a Christian perspective, and that's what we got to understand, what is our faith in? From a Christian perspective, gospel, the definition of the gospel is the death, burial, and resurrection, the good news of His grace. That's what we got to understand. Now, if we're going to talk about the sound of gospel, then we start talking about the different styles of gospel. But what's funny is are we going after the sound, or are we going more so of what?
The content.
The content, or are we going for the style? Because now you got my man Lecrae, who is hip hop, but is gospel.
Heard him.
You understand? And he's ripping it. But what is his standards? So I think when we start talking about what's inspirational versus gospel, it's the message. Because you can have inspiration. We have inspirational gospel. We have inspirational R&B, and anything inspirational, it's supposed to inspire you to do something. Sometimes just because it's called inspirational don't mean it's inspiring you to do good.
Right.
So I think that what the Christians fight sometimes is not necessarily it's inspirational or it's not total. It's not called gospel. Sometimes it's the message, because if my message is about you can make it to where I am, like a Jay-Z or like a anybody who does good hip hop, but if the message is always about I gotta see behind or degrading females or this, that, and the other, that's where the church should have a problem. Right. So I don't think it's so much about you can come from the bottom to the top. No, I think it's more so the church should have a standard on what we put out, not so much the message. Because like I said, nothing is wrong with being inspired, but what are we inspiring you to do? Be that guy that go out and make it. Be that guy that go out and get it. But at the same time, don't be that guy that go out and get it and you throwing money at strippers in your videos. Be that guy that still treat a woman like a woman. So that's what we got to understand. So it's not so much about gospel and the sound of gospel and this, that, and the other, or it's the message that we send. Well, it's the message that I think some of the church send. Now, as a believer that go to church, I'm totally against the grain when it comes to what we call religious stuff. So I'll never jump on, because it's not gospel, we shouldn't listen to it. Because everything that we quote unquote call gospel, even in gospel, ain't gospel. You understand what I'm saying? So it's some stuff is inspirational, some stuff I just think we gotta know what's for us.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What you consider Kanye West's Jesus Walks?
What do I consider Jesus Walks?
Yeah, that's something.
It's his story. It's his story, and it depends on it depends on who's listening to it and what their beliefs are. Like you said something earlier that I gotta agree to. It's about what you believe and what you take in for you. You understand what I'm saying? So Kanye West, I can relate to it as a song that I grew up on, because you know what I mean? Because that's what we grew up
But
on.
I just ask because I don't go to church.
Right,
Like,
right.
But my mother and them go to church, so I might stop in here and that. But like the church, it's a Baptist church, man, mind you. So the difference between Baptist and you say Christian church and whatever, but they play that song there. They would get up the choir, get up and sing that song.
But Jesus walk with me.
But it comes from it's a sample. I have a sample in the house.
But it's a Christian song that he took from a Christian artist and put on his sample.
Yeah, but they do the hip hop version of it in church.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
but they're not going to rap it.
Does it become? No, they don't. They just sing the song, but does it become gospel?
It's always been a gospel, quote unquote.
Well, does it
song.
become hip hop inside the church?
No, it doesn't. It's still it doesn't.
But it's his song. His song is considered a hip hop song, though.
That's fine. So you got a hip hop artist singing a gospel song, and a gospel people singing a gospel song.
No, not over the hip hop beat, because the drummers and the piano play it his way.
Okay. All right, so
I'm just trying to break it down.
So the debate sounds like it's more of a sound genre. The question sounds like it's now becoming, is the hip hop style and art form becoming the predominant style in which the church adapts to, or which the church and gospel artists adapt to? And I would say no to that, only because there are so many genres of music. And when we were saying, you know, when Jay-Z, they were saying, you know, he gets so much flack from the church. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that, but my whole thing boils down to, just like when I was on before, we were talking about the Yeezus album and Kanye as an artist in general. My thing was, you're telling your story. Nobody can tell you what your story is, but when you're putting it in music and putting it out for young minds, what are your intentions and how well do you articulate your story? A lot of the music, Jay-Z, some of the artists have failed to articulate their story in a positive manner. For example, if you have a song and you're talking about shooting people, killing people, selling drugs, popping bottles, but you're saying it in a way that means, you know, that's what I'm doing now, that's what we do, and that's how we get it. That's negative, because now our sons are looking at that saying, we got to pop bottles and we got to get it. But then there are rappers that know how to articulate that and say, we used to pop bottles, we used to get it, but now we're professionals, now we're businessmen, now we're athletes, or whatever it is to show you the positive side of it. Nothing is wrong with anybody's story when you're putting it out. How are you articulating the message?
All right, so then listen. One step, Bishop. I say you had a couple of thoughts. I saw your mind.
I was going to ask him. Do you think people wait to pop bottles in church till they hear a song say it? I don't believe that.
I don't understand the question.
You said that Jay-Z and others write songs talking about popping bottles and clubbing. My point is, so you think hearing gospel stops people in church from doing that?
Nope. What I said was.
Okay, well that's because that was that's what he insinuated.
No, what I insinuated was
if we don't hear that,
Jay-Z was to speak something positive. How well is he articulating it? That's all I said.
No, but but the inference was that if we make something positive, that based upon that alone, people.
I think. Can I jump in right here?
No, wait. Can you let him finish what he was saying?
that based on positive, and I think it should be positive, but I think this is the root of the issue. We think that gospel, if we want to label it that, which I don't, that it changes the disposition of most people. I don't think that. I think what it does is, for the 1 or 2 hours they're there, it entertains them, but change them? No, I don't believe that. So if I heard something, that's just what I believe, because I'm a realist about this. I don't believe that everything we sing about that's churchy, that's gospel, we leave and do. I just simply don't believe that.
You a pastor, and you a pastor. Do y'all listen to Jay-Z?
Yes, sir.
Do you?
It depends on what it is. Yes, I do.
No, you do though, right?
Yes, I do.
All right, do he change your mind?
No, sir.
Okay.
He does not.
Okay.
He does not. But what I'm saying is, when you look at the trends of a generation, you can look at news reports, and it's just a fact. You can fight it and debate it. But what our young people see in pop culture, they imitate. The same as if I'm in the house and I'm watching my mother and father fight, and I'm seeing my father hit my mother, when I grow up, if I don't have another man that's derailing me from that thought of what a man is, I'm going to follow that example. That's all I'm saying.
That's understandable.
What I'm saying is, when I listen to Jay-Z or Nicki Minaj or any rappers, because I am a student of hip hop.
Okay.
Hip hop, the art form. So I like anything that is positive and uplifting, period. I like things that make sense, period. That's me. It could be gospel. It could be country. My students will tell you, my family will tell you, I listen to all genres of music. Classical, I grew up, I trained on different types of music. It does not really matter the genre, it is simply the message. I could preach to you a sermon in a pulpit, then I could go in the cafeteria at my school and say the same sermon in regular speech. And it has a different effect, same gospel. On the CD that I just gave has a sermon on it, the same thing. It's just a different interpretation, a different presentation of the one same message.
So let me ask you a question. Why is it then that they listen to Jay-Z, Kanye more than they do? If our message is so positive and our message is so uplifting, why is it that our quote unquote music doesn't have the kind of influence over a generation? I know what I said. If our music, why doesn't our music, those of us who quote unquote gospel, have the kind of influence? And it doesn't. If you do your homework, it doesn't. So let's raise that question, because maybe that's the question we're asking. What do they have that the church doesn't?
I've seen it done though. Like I've seen it done. I've seen a church drive for the younger people that's in the church, not for the older people. The older people get hip to it, but he mixed it up. This girl took me to a church. I don't go to church. She took me there. And that's what was happening. He started his whole joint. He'd remix everybody's song. Whatever hot 2 Chainz right now, he will write and remix their songs into a whole type of sermon over that beat.
You got his number? I need him.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, but I think we have someone who's calling us here who's going to have some deep insight. FM Radio 101, who's on the line?
Hey, if I could answer the pastor or reverend's question about why isn't the word as the second. First of all, it's Frank the Tank from FM Radio 101.
Hey Frank, how are you?
I'm good. But if I could kind of answer the question for him, at least I'm going to try to take a shot at it. And my thoughts are that, you know, I remember when I was coming up in the church, we used to minister to the community. Churches don't necessarily do that anymore, but Jay-Z and these corporate companies do minister to our kids. They do get out and they reach our kids. It's like, not saying that all churches don't do that, but, you know, I mean, you have to equate the entertainment industry marketing as opposed to the religious marketing or promotions or ministering. So I mean, it's about. I think that the entertainment community probably would have a more impactful response on the community because, you know, it's really branded on people like that. You know, the Reebok and the Nikes and the Jordans and the Jay-Z's and the Wiz Khalifa, and they're out there hustling their tapes, hustling their mixtapes. And, you know, to be honest with you, the only people I really see doing that on the religious side are Jehovah's Witnesses. Mm-hmm. I don't ever see our Baptist churches or our Catholic churches out there ministering at all. And, you know, this is just from me being out in the community as much as I am, which is an awful lot. You know, as a matter of fact, we're on our way to a Youth Be More Summer Block Party that we do every year. And, you know, I was just talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about why is it that you see all of the politicians out when it's time to get elected, but, you know, we go through the neighborhood and we try to do these great things for these kids, and you never see the politicians who actually represent those communities out. You know, right. Mayor.
Cut off?
Okay, cut off.
Okay.
Okay, the reason why is because we actually have another caller.
Okay, that was Frank, the owner of the station that just called in, so go ahead, whoever. Yeah.
Cut off in it. Maybe we can keep on running.
Okay, all right, so Steve,
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
If I can have some of you answer. Do you think one of the reasons why gospel has not been influential anymore to some people, or just like you were saying, Bishop, do you think that maybe it's because it's not evolving with people?